let's take a look at some Trump supporter sadness, anger, madness, craziness, because they are melting down. Like I said, I do think that a lot of this stuff is causing them to have some pretty volatile interpersonal, I'd even say, because a lot of it is with each other, but volatile interactions with other people, both their influencers and their voters, right? So recently, Mehdi Hasan apparently has been the target of one Matt Walsh. Okay? MTV's Pimp My White House. Oh no. So Matt Walsh apparently been listening to some Eminem songs, getting himself all stoked up for the beef, and he chose of all people to fuck with Mehdi Hasan. This is not, if you can choose your own opponent, don't pick Mehdi Hasan. That's a bad idea. And Mehdi Hasan decided to make his reaction to this. So I want to watch this a little bit with you guys, and then we're going to get into Zohran Mamdani and the representative from Florida, Fine, deciding that they're going to push to try to have Zohran Mamdani deported. We'll get to that after this video.
We need to talk about Matt Walsh. And if you're asking Matt who, then I'm truly envious of you. Normally, I wouldn't waste time responding to basically an internet troll, but Matt is so emblematic of everything that is...
Just look at Matt Walsh. It is the funniest people that think that they're leaders. Now, he does look a lot like that the main villain in The Handmaid's Tale. They do have a lot in common, but this dude isn't going to survive if shit breaks down. Matt Walsh has no chance in a society without boundaries. This dude is not alpha in any way, shape, or form.
Wrong with the modern MAGA right? Faux outrage, self-victimization, verbal abuse, a walking, talking Dunning-Kruger. Now, Matt Walsh, who says he's a conservative Christian, is upset with me for being a Muslim and for being an immigrant, but above all else, for being an American. That he cannot stand. So he did an entire 13-minute video calling me a spiteful...
That thumbnail, dude. Matt Walsh is such a fucking weird human being.
lying, self-entitled brat, on top of his tweet in which he called me an ungrateful little bitch.
Dude, I bet you Mehdi Hasan would bitch slap Matt Walsh. I got money on Mehdi, all right? Like, if this came to fisticuffs, guys, gotta say fisticuffs after I saw that Mehdi picture. If this shit comes to fisticuffs, dude, my money is, I got big money on Mehdi Hasan. Thank you for the $10. Five Alarm Fire says, I demand the next Democrat POTUS taking a wrecking ball to anything Trump builds on day one. You know what would be great? Is if Trump was still alive when they did that shit. If Trump gets fucking out of office, he's got his statues built, he's got his ballroom built. Here's what this is what I suggest. I suggest Barack Obama runs for a third term. Barack Obama beats Trump in the next election, and then Barack Obama destroys the Arc de Trump in victory. That's where I'm going with this one.
Just as Jesus would have said. Now, before we get into the substance of Matt's claims, if we can even call it that, before we get into what I said about Muslims and the founding of America, a little bit of background on who Matt Walsh is. Shock jock podcaster, former radio DJ, and now basically that Daily Wire guy who isn't Ben Shapiro. He's also the guy who hasn't got the greatest of political judgment. He went all in on Ron DeSantis in the GOP primary and then had to come crawling back to Trump when DeSantis got
I love how many people, too, on the right were DeSantis guys that have just swept that shit directly under the rug. Like, they're like, I never was disloyal.
Destroyed, as some of us predicted he would. Matt is also the guy who said COVID wasn't a big deal, that, quote, it's totally irrational to panic over this virus. He later admitted he got it wrong. But here's my favorite. Matt was so bothered by a black woman playing Ariel in the Little Mermaid movie that he actually said this.
From a scientific perspective, okay, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have someone with darker skin who lives deep in the ocean.
There are no words to describe.
Oh my god, bro, shut the fuck up. Oh my god. Dude, Matt Walsh is such a fucking dork. Oh, Jesus Christ. Grown-ass men being upset about a black mermaid was bad enough. And then you had to go there with that, dog? That's where you went with that? You're like, actually, just so you guys know, like, because of the fact that, like, you're that deep under the water, actually, like, you would have pale skin. Yeah, so, like, I mean, scientifically, the fact that a girl that has a fishtail that then turns into legs when she gets on land, she would actually have much paler skin. You fucking dork.
How dumb you have to be to try and make scientific arguments about the skin color of mermaids, which are fictional fucking characters, man. This is the...
I love this. Okay, so this is the dumbest timeline. Okay, this is the dumbest timeline. But I do love the fact that people like Mehdi Hasan and others are now talking like I do. Shut the fuck up. That's what I like. Like, fucking seeing Hakeem Jeffries tell that dude to shut his mouth, I was like, these are my people now. You guys, welcome. Welcome to the party. I was here for a long time. Come on in. I have drinks.
Guy who millions on the right turn to for intellectual guidance, historical analysis, and thought leadership. Then you wonder why this country is so screwed right now. By the way, just quickly, consistency isn't really his...
I'm not even repeating that, Radar.
thing either. In May of this year, he said identifying as a girl dad is super cringe and corny.
Bro, I know a lot of dudes that identify as a girl dad that would fucking mop the floor with Matt Walsh for saying that shit. You know this dude don't go out in public talking this shit. Dude, you say some dumb shit like that, some dude just drags you face first across the parking lot. Matt Walsh, brother, you need to stop. You need to just like go home, be the corny ass little dork you are, hang out with your fucking, what was the guy's name? What was the fucking general dude's name? I saw it just a minute ago. Somebody put it in here. Ah, damn it, I missed it. I can't find it again. Anyways, that dude from The Handmaid's Tale. Just go be that dude. Like, behind closed doors with your trad wife, where she's, like, you know, cosplaying, being, you know, subordinate to you, because deep down inside she knows that if she wanted to, she could just man up and just take over the whole fucking house. Like, just go do that shit, dog. You're going to run into the wrong dude that's going to be like, yeah, by the way, I'm a girl dad, and I'm going to fuck you up.
In 2020, though, he said, being a girl dad is a great blessing. He constantly complains about political violence and death threats when they're aimed at him, but he's happy to dish it out to the people he doesn't like. He's called for the mayor of Chicago, a black man, to be executed. He's called for Jimmy Kimmel, a comedian, to be arrested. He once said this, too.
But it is, in fact, true that you have to make people hurt. And I'm sorry, but holding signs and yelling loudly will not make anyone hurt.
You have to make people hurt. Now, what's really bothering him about me is that I said in a recent visit to Dearborn,
I think that if you can play church bells, you can pray the call to prayer.
Isn't it okay for Muslim Americans to broadcast a call to prayer?
Yeah.
I mean, let me add right now, within reason, of course,
I don't like religion
and in
at
accordance
all.
with all local sound
Seems
and noise
fair.
ordinances. But Matt went nuts and said Christianity built this country. Islam did not at all in even the slightest way. That's why we can have our church bells. To which I responded, 1 in 3 of the slaves who built this country were Muslims. They were here long before the Walsh family arrived. You'd know that if you'd studied history, but I know MAGA has an issue with studying. To which Matt responded with a 13-minute video in which he got really mad, but was unable to...
He got so ass mad, he made a 13-minute video.
...rebut the 2 central points that I made. Number 1, enslaved people helped build this country. And number 2, perhaps up to 1 in 3 of those slaves were Muslims. Matt can't rebut that because it's true, according to historians, according to the African American History Museum, according to the US State Department. Muslim slaves are a historical fact. As his boss Ben Shapiro has famously declaimed, facts don't care about your feelings, Matt. It's not my fault if they didn't teach you about slavery in high school. In his video, Matt Walsh sounds like a Monty Python sketch. What did the slaves ever do for us? Ignoring the railways, the roads, the ports, the literal seat of our government, the White House and the Capitol, all built by enslaved people. and 1 in 3 of them, remember, being Muslims, black African Muslims. Matt is also just completely clueless about the Muslims who fought in the Revolutionary War, in the War of 1812, in the Civil War, where most...
You know what he gets wrong here, though? You know what he gets wrong here? It's not Matt. It's the people that follow Matt. Matt probably is aware that these things are there. But Matt knows that the people that follow him are fucking morons. He knows that the people that like his brand of bullshit are the dumbest human beings on earth. And he knows they don't know that. And he knows that they want to think that the white man is the reason that everything's good, brother. That right there is what I think he's getting wrong here.
Most of them fought in the Union Army. But then again, Matt's been pictured wearing a Confederate t-shirt, so maybe he's mad that the Muslims fought against the Confederacy. He even issues this challenge to me.
If Islam had ceased to exist 300 years ago, this country would not have lost a single thing. There is not a single good thing about our country that we would not have if not for Islam. And if you doubt that, then go ahead and give me an example of the great gift
Oh, you're about to get a lot of examples.
that Islam has given to this country since its founding.
Has he never heard of the Golden Age of Islam, which helped fuel the Renaissance and the Enlightenment in Europe, which of course then helped produce the American founding fathers? Has he ever gotten off of the internet and read a book? But look, I'm happy to fill the gaps in his education. He asked me to explain what Islam or Muslims have done for America. I mean, the black Muslim slaves aside, more recently, how about the planning of the moon landings? That was a Muslim American scientist and immigrant. How about the science behind modern skyscrapers? That was a Muslim American engineer and immigrant. How about brain tumor treatment? That was a Muslim American neurosurgeon.
Matt Walsh don't know anything about brain tumor treatment because Matt Walsh has a brain tumor and he ain't treating that shit. He's like, this feels good. I'm just as stupid as the people that follow me. This feels really good having this fucking giant tumor right on my brain so that way I don't have to think about things.
And immigrant. Just this year, the Nobel Prize for Chemistry went to, among others, a Palestinian-American Muslim immigrant whose research Matt could never possibly understand and whose work could help tackle man-made climate change, which Matt doesn't believe in. Because Matt Walsh's knowledge of science is right up there with his knowledge of history. So what does he do? The guy who can't rebut basic facts. He attacks me. He goes after me for a speech I gave nearly 2 decades ago, which I said awful, dumb, bigoted things about the gay community, about non-Muslims, which I've regretted, disowned, apologized.
Good for him. Like I said, everybody deserves a path to redemption. And this is, we've talked about even what we talked about with Mehdi Hasan and the Kamala Harris campaign. It's what you do with your life after you make mistakes. And that's really important, and it's something that the left has had a really hard time with. The left has a really hard time offering people paths to redemption. But as I've said before, that if you, like, I actually prefer, let me just say it this way. I prefer a person that fucked up that got better. Because I know that person has life experience. Because I know that person, when they speak out against something, they speak out against it because they know what it's like to be that person, to be that, to have those opinions. I've talked a lot about like my own opinions and how my life is different because of my wife, because of my 2 bosses. The people that became a part of my life changed my path. And there is a really good potential chance that if I hadn't had those people in my life and I had instead had more negative influences in my life, that I potentially could have been a MAGA fucking moron. And I prefer to have gone through that period in my life. I prefer to understand through life experience who those people are and why it's gross what they think. So I applaud Mehdi Hasan for doing the work after. And it's how you finish. You know, like some people have done things in their lives that you're just never going to make up for, right? But if a person can show that they did things that they should not have, or they made bad decisions, or they spoke poorly, and then show for the rest of their life that the content of their character has grown and they have become a positive force in this world for people, then I prefer that person, to be honest.
For multiple times over the decades. He thinks it's a gotcha. But here's the problem for Matt. What I said back then are essentially Matt Walsh's views right now. Matt is an anti-gay bigot today. In fact, Matt supports a Uganda law imprisoning gay people. I don't.
I did a video on that. It actually doesn't just imprison gay people. It also gives the death penalty for certain gay people. For witnessing a gay act, you can go to prison in Uganda. You guys should check it out. I have a video on my channel. I forgot what it's called. Something, but it's a Uganda anti-gay rights bill. It's the anti-gay bill of 2023 is actually, I think, what the bill is called.
Matt thinks most pop music is satanic. I don't. What I stupidly said nearly 20 years ago in my 20s, Matt basically says today, aged almost 40.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the
and
difference.
if you're going to play the game of what were you saying in embarrassing videos decades ago, here's what Matt Walsh was saying in 2010.
But to all of a sudden act like this phenomenon of girls getting pregnant at a young age that we consider young, 16 or 17, to act like it's a new thing is ridiculous. It's always been that way. Girls between the ages of like 17 and 24 is when they're technically most fertile.
That's pretty gross.
I was going to say, bro, how the fuck did this guy get any woman to let him touch her vagina? Oh my God. Like, that's how dude talks? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, brother. That was disgusting. Like, the way you said it. Like, I'm pretty sure you could say something like that in a different way and have it not sound as gross, but that was fucking disgusting.
Pretty disgusting, I think we can all agree. And also, kind of creepy. A 25-year-old man telling his audience how fertile 17-year-old girls are? What is wrong with you, man? I mean, it's also ironic that the right are obsessed with smearing Muslims as child molesters and saying Islam supports child marriage, and yet here is Matt on tape saying that about 17-year-old girls, about children. So,
Yikes.
Look, to conclude, who is more American? The guy who supports free and fair elections, me, or the guy who got mad when judges locked up violent insurrectionists who tried to overturn the 2020 election, Matt Walsh? Who is more American? The guy who supports the First Amendment and free speech, me, or the guy who wants to imprison people and deport people for their speech, Matt Walsh? Who is more American? The guy who supports the United States, me, or the guy who wore a t-shirt celebrating the violent traitors of the Confederacy, Matt Walsh? Who is more American? The guy who supports religious pluralism and separation of church and state as intended by the founders, me, or the guy who wants Christian nationalism in America and proudly calls himself a theocratic fascist, Matt Walsh? Yeah, I think I've made the case that I'm much more of an American and much more of a patriotic American than you are, Matt. And you're just going to have to go whine and cry about it. Did you like it?
Oh, that was pretty good. And, you know, when it comes to every religion, I have the same opinion. It is consistent throughout. And that is the same thing I've said about everything else. Every person deserves to be judged off of their own deeds, and everything deserves context and nuance. So, if you're a person that is a Muslim and you want the best for everybody and you don't wish harm upon people and you're not trying to restrict women's rights and you're not anti-LGBT, good on you. Be Muslim. I don't care. If you're a Muslim person that believes that gay people shouldn't live, if you a Muslim person that believes in Sharia law, if you're a Muslim person that believes, in harming others because they don't believe in the same religion as you, you can fuck off. And the same thing goes for Christians. And the same thing goes for Catholics. And the same thing goes for atheists. The same thing goes for anybody. As I've said before, I try not to hold an entire group of people accountable for the portion within them that is extreme. In fact, I do the same for Republicans. I say all the time that there are libertarians that I can have discussions with. There are conservatives that I can have discussions with. But MAGA Republicans, for the most part, are fucking extremists. And they're crazy. And they're just as bad as any religious extremist that they claim to hate. In fact, I would venture to say that MAGA Republicans have more in common with Muslims that want Sharia law than probably Mehdi Hasan does. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and check out that video on the screen now.